unbridled power. Rafael Ruelas unleashed his attack and dramatically stopped Jorge Paez and is now ranked #1 in the world. Tonight, he defends his NABF crown. Lionel Butler, a late bloomer in the boxing scene, a Tyson lookalike, and that's who he looked like when he cranked Tony Tubbs in his coming out party. Butler and Ruelas headline tonight's LA Story on Tuesday Night Fights. His way into the heavyweight picture, and he goes up against the always dangerous Tony Willis. Lionel Butler introduced himself to the boxing world last August with a Mike Tyson power pack look. He shot ex-champ Tony Tubbs in the first round.
It was a good win. I really wanted to. I mean, a lot of people say, well, why you wanted to go into the later rounds? Because it would have really let me know where I was. I mean, fighting a guy with, experience and a veteran, in the first round knockout, I'm glad it happened, but if it would have went longer, it would have proven more to me.
After a rocky start, Butler has reeled off 8 straight wins, 7 by knockouts, 5 in the first round, and now wants to encounter the Morrisons, Mercers, and more of the world.
Let me fight a couple of these guys, not one. I don't want to fight one of these guys and then say, give me a world title shot. I'm here and I'm willing to prove myself. I'll fight anybody they're willing to get for me to fight. And I'll fight these guys and beat them. And it's how many it takes to beat these guys to get a title shot, that's what I'll do.
Tonight, Butler will try to get by Tony Willis, one time a bright light heavyweight contender. He has tried and faltered as a heavyweight, but thinks he has found himself.
I've grown into to be a solid heavyweight, and I've had experience with fight heavyweights, sparring heavyweights, and involved with heavyweights. So, hey, so now the opportunity's come, and this is where I stand at.
Well, first I have to cut the ring off him because I know Tony's a good boxer. He moves well, good footwork, good hand speed, and he's a good boxer. But he can't box with a guy like me because I won't give him that kind of room. I pressure, and he'll have to fight. And once he fights, I'm gonna take it to him.
And the encounter tonight, the big Lionel Butler and Tony Willis, who looks a little more bulked up than we've ever seen him before.
And what a turnaround for Lionel Butler. 6-10-1 before he got serious about boxing. Now he's aggressive, he's a machine, and he's ready for the best in boxing.
He's won 8 in a row, 7 by knockout, and 5 of those in the first round. One of those first round, as you just saw, against the former champion, Tony Tubbs. Tony Willis, one-time light heavyweight contender, and then just started to take some heavyweight fights, was quite frankly confused. He had an identity crisis, didn't know he was a heavyweight or a light heavy or a cruiser, but right now he is committed to the heavyweight division, and you see the weight on Tony Willis. Let's check it out further on the Castrol tail of the tape. Butler, a rock-solid 5'11", 231 pounds. This is the heaviest Tony Willis has ever weighed. At the same height, 5'11", and he has 212 pounds, and he has that 1-inch reach advantage. We are in California, and these will be the rules for the fighters. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to Tony Longval's Country Club in Reseda, California. We have a big night of action coming your way, and this bout coming your way, we present a 10 Goose boxing event brought to you by Al Goosen Promotions in association with Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers. Ladies and gentlemen, we present a heavyweight dual championship, the California State and vacant IBO heavyweight championship. Introducing the referee in charge of this bout, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Chuck Hassett. Presenting the judges at ringside, we have Rudy Jordan, Dick Young, and Gwen Adair. All right, fans, here we go. Introducing to you first on my left. He is fighting out of the red corner. He enters the ring wearing black trunks with red trim, fighting out of Chicago, Illinois. He weighed in at 212 pounds with a record of 21 wins and 5 losses. He has 16 wins by way of knockout. Welcome the California State Heavyweight Champion, Tough Tony Willis. And his opponent across the ring. On my right, fighting out of the blue corner, he enters the ring wearing orange trunks with blue trim, fighting out of Los Angeles, California by way of Venice, California. He weighed in 231 pounds with a record of 14 wins, 10 losses, and 1 draw. He has 9 wins by way of knockout. Welcome into the ring, Lionel Butler. Once again, your referee in charge, Chuck Hassett.
All right, gentlemen, you've had your instruction in the dressing room. Do you have your mouthpiece in? Final mouthpiece? Okay. Good luck. Come out boxing.
Lionel Butler, who has just cracked the top 20, and only by the WBC, and he is at that 20th spot. After the win against Tony Tubbs, he really had a window of opportunity to get into the picture in a hurry. Such an impressive knockout victory over Tubbs. But stayed out of the ring for 3 months. He said he was suffering from pneumonia, was really run down. And he came back 3 months later with a 5-round TKO over John Morton, but weighing in at 241. He was 226 against Tony Tubbs. But the Morton fight 3.5 months ago. So Butler has had only 1 fight in 6.5 months. And you just see the power in the left. Tony Willis, who is a very awkward fighter. And what Butler wants to do is try to cut off the ring against Willis. We have seen before that when Willis gets KO'd, it is very colorful. He's Hollywood material. Could be auditioning tonight.
Very ugly. When he goes down, he gets hit, and when he goes down ugly. First, like his feet fall, and then his knees fall, and then his rear falls, and then his belly falls, then his chest falls. Finally, his head
Let go,
falls.
let go.
Basically slow motion, but in real action. But
an interesting knockdown.
Keep in mind that Tim Witherspoon unable to take out Tony Willis. That was Willis's last fight. That goes back in August when Witherspoon won a 10-round decision.
And he said he got hurt early in that fight, Tony Willis did. He said that he thought it was a good fight, though.
These two fighters know each other very well. Both here in Los Angeles have sparred against one another. Both have the respect. Willis has the respect for the power of Butler, and Butler has the respect for the boxing ability of Tony Willis.
Yeah, Tony, you talked about Lionel Butler, his strength, he's tighter when he's throwing punches, he's moving in more, he's aggressive. Well, Tony Willis is exactly the opposite. He's very loose, very elusive, hard to hit solid. He has fun, he plays inside the ring. He loves the sport of boxing.
Tony, let go of his arm.
Not that Butler doesn't boxing, but it's just a relaxed style inside the ropes for Tony Willis.
Hey, you remember in the Tubbs fight, Butler was losing the first round. Tubbs commanding the lead in the first round of the closing seconds when Butler clocked him.
Well, Butler said, I just planned to wear him down, but I connected in the first round.
Hold it there.
You know, if you're busy, you're going to connect. Now, in this fight, he may be showing a little bit of ring rust. You talked about the time off. Also, the fight with John Big Red Morton. He weighed 241 pounds. He says, though, I was not fat. He says I was chopping wood, and the weight was upstairs in his chest.
Yeah, but he says he's a little too heavy now. He wants to get down to about 225, 226. Although for him, in later fights, he may have to put on the extra pounds. So it gives him a chance to see what it feels like fighting at 231 to 240.
Tony Willis could give him some instructions there.
We'll pause now for a word from your local cable systems. It's USA. Second round action. Lionel Butler in the orange trunks. And in the black trunks is Tony Willis, the former NABF and USBA light heavyweight champion, world title contender at 175 pounds. He did have a world title shot, losing to Dennis Andres back in '89. Tony Willis was 16-0 at one point and won the 2 light heavyweight championships. Matter of fact, he was on the verge of a world title fight against Donnie Lalonde when a guy named Sugar Ray Leonard stepped into the picture. At that time, Willis was the #1 ranked light heavy. Then he lost to Andres would be out for 14 months and returns Sean 26 pounds heavy at 199. He gave up 30 pounds in knocking out Kevin Ford. Then he was back down to 182, and he knocked out Lauren Ross, highly considered cruiserweight. And then gave up 30 pounds and was KO'd in 9 by Orlin Norris. And after that, in back-to-back fights, Tony Willis at 197 fought a heavyweight, Phil Jackson, was stopped, and then went down to 182 the next fight to fight the WBO light heavyweight champion Leonza Barber, and was stopped in that fight. And Willis just lost focus. He was taking whatever fights were out there at any weight. He had visions of being a heavyweight, but then went back down to cruiser. But now at 212, he's focused. At least he's committed. He's going to put on the weight, try to bring the speed of the light heavyweight up to a bigger body. He does have a good right hand, and right now it is Butler closing in with his good left hand.
Well, they told Butler between rounds, they said, watch out for Willis's right hand. He's just trying to set up that right hand. Willis has tremendous power in their overhand right. Knocked out Kevin Ford, Lauren Ross, Everett Martin, Willie Edwards, Jimmy Ellis.
And those shots by Butler moving Tony Willis.
All with the right hand, but Butler scoring with a left hook. Now, the way you control a heavy right-hand puncher is you nail him with the left hook. You beat him to the punch. If you can hit him with that left hook, even if it's to the body, it'll slow that right hand down. There is some of that movement from Willis that is hard to deal with. Moves back from the waist up. Very elusive fighter is Willis.
Very
hard man to fight.
Awkward fighter.
If you're Butler, you go downstairs to the body. Take some of that quickness, that sharpness away. You can see the body of Willis sticking out there, asking to be hit.
Yeah, Willis says he's up to 212, he says, though, but by the next time he's going to distribute the weight a little better. Butler's the kind of fighter that could end it with one punch, as Tony Tubbs found out. Closing seconds of the second is scheduled for 10. Al Albert along with the champ, Sean O'Grady, USA's Tuesday Night Fights. We're from the Reseda Country Club in Los Angeles. And this is our first fight tonight. Lionel Butler in the orange trunks comes in with a very deceiving record of 14-10-1. He's reeled off 8 straight with 7 knockouts, turning his career around. Another Freddie Pendleton story. And Tony Willis in the black trunks, 21-5 with 16 KOs. Willis won 19 of his first 20 fights, but has since lost 4 of 6 trying to step up to the heavyweight division. And Willis in the corner, hearing it from his man, Johnny Lira, after that last round.
Now listen, Tony. What are you fighting inside? This guy can't fight long range. From way out here, boom, boom. From way outside, don't fall in behind your punches. Nail the guy from outside like we've been working on. What have we been working on? We're in it for long range. What are you fighting his fight for? You got longer arms than his. He can't punch long range. Nail from out here, slide to the side. Out here, slide to the side.
Former lightweight contender Johnny Lira asking Willis to stay on the outside. He doesn't want him to get on the inside and tie up and wrestle with this heavier man. Butler outweighs Willis by 19 pounds.
Obviously the message not getting across.
Right, but what Willis is doing is he's trying to stay on the inside to smother the punches of Butler. He's been hit a few times by Butler. He knows his power.
Well, if there's...
Willis has been doing this boxing a long time. He's been around a fight game.
If there's anyone who knows what it's like going into the ring and giving away 20 or 30 pounds, it's Tony Willis.
Willis is an expert at that.
Get out of there!
Very pesky fighter. Witherspoon couldn't catch him. And Tony Willis will undress a bigger guy if he's not prepared or has some weaknesses or is careless. But right now, Butler looking for some room. Inside a minute to go.
Oh, good right hand by Willis.
And now it's Butler. Perhaps is he holding on? Chuck Hassett, the referee, steps between the two. Round number 3.
Come on, let's go.
And it's Willis trying to grind it out inside.
Oh, very tough way to fight. But, you know, inside like that, you have to be careful of your opponent's head, the top of his head, his elbows. On the inside, it's very physical. And you got to be careful also of his fists. Big punches and some muscling by Lionel Butler.
And right now, Butler cautioning the referee.
Butler wants Willis to stay on the outside so he can nail him right on the end of those punches. That's where the power is, right at the end of them. That's how he knocked out Tony Tubbs.
Butler steps into the middle of the ring with Willis. It is round number 4 of this scheduled 10-rounder. Lionel Butler making a complete 180 in his career. Reminder coming up later in our main event. It's called the NABF lightweight title. Rafael Ruelas and Robert Rivera, 2 tough customers who will square off, scheduled for 12 rounds. That's our main event tonight. Butler had no amateur fights, and he was handled by a guy who just got him fights, and he won 6, lost 10 with 1 draw to start his career. He really didn't have a manager. He was throwing him into fights. For instance, the first pro fight for Lionel Butler was against Phil Jackson. Then 10 days later, in the second pro fight against Riddick Bowe. Lionel Butler was 0-1, no amateur experience going into the fight against the Olympian Riddick Bowe. You know the rest of his story. Then in his 4th fight, he faced Cleveland Woods. 5th fight, James Pritchard, both promising young fighters. So Lionel Butler lost 4 of his first 5 fights. He was an opponent. He didn't know how to fight, didn't have an amateur career. He was actually a tough man thrown into the boxing world.
It was back in February of 1991 in California. He moved to California, started taking boxing more seriously. He learned to hit the speed bag, something he'd never hit before. He learned to jump rope, to get in better shape, and to start faster. And in this fight, he did not start as fast as he did when we saw him against Tony Tubbs. I know he allowed for Tubbs to score in the first round, but toward the end of that opening round, he came back, and he came on. Loves the sport of boxing, loves the physical contact. Nice kid who wants to be a role model.
Looking for his 9th straight victory. It's almost, he doesn't even consider his record of 14-10-1.
No.
He looks at it as his career is the 8-0 Lionel Butler.
This is a different Lionel Butler than the other Lionel Butler. This is the Butler that's committed.
How much further, though, does he have to go? Earlier you talked to him, and he's talking about getting into the ring with the Morrisons, the Mercers, the Moores. That would be the next step before he went all the way upstairs.
Yeah, he's not ready for that yet. You see now he's having difficulty hitting Tony Willis. He wants for Willis to stay out on the end of the ring.
Now he's putting some crunching power into these shots.
They wanted him between rounds to go to the head and then mix it up to the body, but we've seen very few body punches from Lionel Butler. It's something that great professional fighters must be able to sleep at night. He looks weary in this fight, Lionel Butler does. He told me that he could not sleep last night, so he got up about 11:30 and started shadow boxing. Tony Willis needs to learn how to go to sleep.
Welcome back to USA's Tuesday Night Fights. Lionel Butler looking across at Tony Willis. They have sparred many rounds together. No feeling out process in this one. They each know each other extremely well in the ring.
I mentioned Tony Willis at the end of the last round needs to learn how to sleep. Well, Butler needs to learn how to go to sleep also. Butler was real nervous last night for this fight. What happens those last few days, you tone your training down. Consequently, you have more energy, and you're more excited about the fight coming up, and you want to show everything that you have. Well, but that doesn't work for you when you stay awake all night wanting to do that.
Very anxious, Butler, to get back. We talked about the Tubbs fight. He had that window of opportunity after the big knockout. He's had only 1 fight since then in 6.5 months, raring to go. I saw him an hour and a half before this fight here in the country club, and he said, I wish the fight was now. Couldn't wait to step in the ring.
And this is a difficult fighter to look good against. You cannot look impressive against a fighter like Willis because he's like constantly moving, he's holding on, he's tying up, now he's got you frustrated. Lionel Butler just wants for Willis to stand still. Let me hit you one time, come on.
Well, let me hit you with a question.
Don't hit me.
We talked about in the last round, Butler talking about getting into the fights against some of the top heavyweights. He's ranked now 20 by the WBC. But what puts Lionel Butler into contention? You take a look at him here. You say it's hard to look good against Willis, but from what you see, what does Lionel Butler have to put into the repertoire?
Okay, he has to, more importantly than anything else, he must get busy. If you get on a schedule and you say, hey, I'm going to fight once a month for the next year, by the end of that first year, you're either 12-0, 11-1, 10-2, and so on. He has to get busy, and he's already made the decision to get serious about boxing. He's surrounded himself with good boxing people in the Grusin family.
And Willis rocked up against the ropes. He is in big danger, and now Butler unloading with a minute to go.
And Willis trying to hold on. Look at Willis taking him down.
Chuck Hassett may stop the fight. Is he? No. Yes, he is. Willis.
No, he's waving that off as no knockdown.
Oh, okay.
Willis is getting hit, and there he's going to stop the fight. Willis got clobbered. And there was some of the ugliness in a knockdown that Willis had that we talked about earlier. He falls a little bit at a time.
But never down. But it was Butler moving in, and with that crunching power just setting it up, and Willis had nothing left.
Yes!
And here is the punch that turned this fight around for Lionel Butler. Big left hook. He's got the power in that left hand. That's the same punch that he knocked out Tony Tubbs with. Willis is stunned right here. Willis cannot move fast enough to get out of the way of the punches. Willis just tried to tackle Lionel Butler when he realized he couldn't do it. He's only tackling himself.
Now that shot, it was almost a flick at first by Butler to clear Willis's glove away, and it opened. It looked like a harmless little flick to the face. Let's just take another look exactly what happened up there. Lionel Butler with Willis hands down.
Oh. Well, there it is. The left hook did land. It didn't look like there was a lot of mustard behind it, but you know something? I've seen fighters get hit by hard shots, not go down, get hit by easy shots, and then go down. It could be an accumulation of these punches that actually put him out. Not really down, was not counted as a knockdown, but they stopped the fight.
All right, let's find out the official time. We'll go into the ring, and Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time, 2 minutes, 15 seconds in round number 4. The referee in charge, Chuck Hassett, stops the contest. The winner by way of knockout, the new California State and IBO heavyweight champion, Lionel Butler.
Lionel, the big train of Butler. 2:15 of the 5th round, as he has won his 9th in a row and his 8th knockout in those 9 fights. Still to come on USA's Tuesday Night Fights. The main event, Rafael Ruelas at 35-1, the #1 ranked lightweight in. Welcome back to the Country Club here in Reseda. Lionel Butler makes it 9 in a row, 8 of those knockout. It is a new career for Lionel Butler. Tell us a little bit about Tony Willis after the Tony Tubbs fight, the 1st round knockout. Willis, it took you 5 rounds. Exactly what was the punch? It looked like a little chip shot with the left hand to start it out.
Well, I was breaking him down slowly with the little uppercuts I was throwing if you saw him, you know, on the inside. And my strategy was to respect this guy because Tony's a good fighter. You know, he'd been around. I saw the fight with him in Weatherspoon, which was a real good fight. And just like I said, I started out slow because my trainer said, this guy is cagey, you know, he got good ring generalship, and take my time with him and take him to the later rounds, like the 8th and 9th round. Then that's when I was going to bring on the pressure for about 3 or 4 of the last rounds. Then I was going to get him.
All right, let's take a look at the punch. Actually, you at this position, first fight in 6.5 months, or you've had 1 fight in that time, you're looking to get some rounds in. But there was that little chop, and there was the left hand.
Right. Well, right there, I know I had hurt him, but I didn't know I hurt him that bad because he went back. Then I saw him, I said, well, I might as well get this guy.
Big problem catching this guy with his style, Tony.
Yes, because he's very awkward. You know, he pulls back with his right, and he let loose with it, which is his big punch. And I know about that punch, so I was kind of respecting that.
Did he ever hurt you with that punch?
No, he never hurt me.
He cracked you 1 time.
No, but he didn't hurt me.
All right, Lionel, just one quick question you're talking about facing the Morrisons, the Mercers, the Moores.
Right, that's the type of fights that I need to, you know, to prove to all my fans, because I got some real good fans.
Do you think at this point you are ready for that?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anywhere that you have to, Sean and I was talking about
well,
where...
I have to come down. I would like to be like 225 for my next fight, which is my ideal weight. I had a few extra pounds on me that I didn't want to have on me, but I was in shape. And So, yeah, I like to come down. That's the only thing I like to improve. You know.
All right, well, congratulations tonight. It's Lionel the Big Train Butler who scores another KO in this fight tonight and celebrates it here in Los Angeles, his hometown. Still to come.